right, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashim, Yahushai, Ba'ashim, Rakakadash, Rakateh Yahweh, Rakateh Yahushai, Rakateh Yahweh, Rakateh Yahushai, Rakateh Yahweh, Rakateh Yahushai. I'd like to give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashim, Yahushai. Double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops, great millstones that taught us the word, peace salutations with the hopeful elect across the planet Earth, pushing this truth of sincerity in the spirit and the truth. So yeah, I just want to talk about, that first dominion, which is that first rulership in the kingdom of heaven, which goes into that first resurrection spoken about in the book of Revelation. The first dominion, those are going to, it's basically Yahushai and his elect. They're going to be the first ones, to rule in the kingdom of heaven. That first dominion, they're going to claim their rightful position, the joint heirs to Yahushai and Yahushai's kingdom, man. And basically, those men are being gathered today. The kingdom is being built without observation. The house of David, is being, resurrected, as the scriptures say. It's being built as in the days of old, the house of David. It's being built without observation, as the scriptures say. But nevertheless, it's being built. Those men are being gathered right now through the Spirit. That first rulership in the kingdom of heaven. But because as you always say, there was a falling away first. It had to happen. And we fell from our, this truth. We fell from our heritage and our nationality. But the Lord, in these last days, the Lord is gathering, his men are being, his elect are being woken up through the Spirit across the planet Earth. That's how we know that we are at the end of this thing, man. First scripture is this Romans 8:16. The Spirit itself beareth witness with our spirit that we are the children of the Most High. Yeah, the Spirit beareth witness that we're the children. But we don't have all this proof. We don't have all these records, to go back and to prove, our lineage, goes back to Israel, man. But the scriptures say, the Spirit beareth witness that we are the children of the Most High, children of Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai. So let me get that real quick. It's part of the curses that we were to, go into Egypt again on slave ships. That's one of the clues that tells us who we are. Is that prophecy of us going into slavery. Deuteronomy 28:68. But this is 1 Timothy 1:3. As I besought thee to abide still in Ephesus when I went into Macedonia, that thou mightest charge some that they teach no other doctrine. Yeah, you stick to this doctrine. Stick to this is the comforter, man. The scriptures. This is the true doctrine. So you have the house of Saul that's being resurrected, but you also have, the house of Saul. You have the house of David, that's being resurrected, but you also have the house of Saul, man, the Spirit. And these guys are out here teaching all these wayward doctrines, man. Saying that Esau and the other nations can be saved. And all this madness going over to different lands, to Africa and whatnot, telling you that Esau isn't our enemy, that the New Testament doesn't matter, all this madness that they're pushing, man. That thou mightest charge them that they teach no other doctrine, neither give heed to fables and endless genealogies, which minister questions rather than godly edifying, which is in faith. So dude, endless genealogies, man. Trying to pull up all these records, man. The furthest I can go back as far as my records is, 1800s, 1845. Because my father passed recently, so I really got into, his lineage and his great-great-grandfather and all that, great-great-father, I can only go back to about 1845, man. And that's it. Slave in Alabama, you know? But through the Spirit, man, you know, you heard that voice in the back of your head and said that, hey, this is the way, so walk ye in it. We're back in Romans 8:16. The Spirit itself beareth witness with our spirit that we are the children of the Most High. This is a spiritual thing, man. A spiritual battle. It's not a carnal thing. Everything's in the Spirit, man. You gotta let the Spirit guide you in these end days, man. And if children, then heirs, heirs of the Most High, and joint heirs with Yahushua, if so be that we suffer with him, that we may also glorify together. Yeah, suffer. It says Yahushua suffered. You know, we're suffering, man. Serving is greater than his master. You know, what the Lord went through, we're going through. You know, each man in this truth, you know, has his trials and tribulations and the hell that he's catching. You know, so that's that suffering, man. Also, scriptures say you gotta walk that straight gate, a straight and narrow path to the kingdom, man. Broad is the way to destruction, man. So it's gonna be a hard path to walk, man. It's gonna be temptations, man. Yeah, come to serve the Lord, prepareth the soul for temptation, man. Whoever departed from evil maketh himself a prey. You know, so you're gonna go through some things, man. Suffer with Yahushua, but just to know that it's for the greater good. You know, the Lord will, you know, you endure to the end. You know, you'll be that joint heir with Yahushua. You take part in that first dominion. You know, in the kingdom of heaven, right here on the planet Earth. Yahushua's kingdom. It says, if children, then heirs, heirs of the Most High, and joint heirs with Yahushua. If so be that we suffer with him, that we may also be glorified together. And you want to be glorified, you know, with Yahushua, man. You want to, you know, the Lord said he's not going to sip with the wine until he's sipping it with you in the kingdom, roughly paraphrasing. You know, and you want to be glorified with Yahushua. You know. Yeah, it's Micah 4:8. And thou, O tower of the flock, the stronghold of the daughter of Zion. I know Israel, mainly the elect, you know. Unto thee shall it come, even the first dominion. The kingdom shall come to the daughter of Jerusalem. Yeah, the kingdom is coming to Israel, man. And Israel only. You know, we're not going to be sharing the kingdom, you know, with these other heathen nations, man. We're not going to be sharing the kingdom with Esau. Esau is going to be, you know, a servant. He's going to be that slave role, you know, along with the other nations. You know, just like we were slaves under them, under every nation, they're going to be slaves unto us. You know, he that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. You know? It says, and thou, O tower of the flock, the stronghold of the daughter of Zion, unto thee shall it come, even the first dominion. Yeah, the daughter of Zion. It's talking about Israel, man. No other nation is up in there, man. Even the first dominion, the kingdom shall come to the daughter of Jerusalem, man. No other people can put themselves up in there, man. You know, it says the kingdom shall come to the daughter of Jerusalem, man. It's plain, man. That scripture's Luke 17:20, because the kingdom's being built right now, you know. And when he was demanded of the Pharisees when the kingdom of the Most High should come, He answered them and said, The kingdom of the Most High cometh not with observation, neither shall they say, Lo here, or Lo there, for behold, the kingdom of the Most High is within you. You know, and it's not being built with observation, man. It's spiritually being built. You know, those men that you see on the street corners, you know, week in, week out, prophesying, man. Testimony of Yahweh Shai, giving a testimony of Yahweh Shai, which is the spirit of prophecy. You know, it's being built through them. Right? It's a spiritual thing, and then it's going to be made physical, you know, when the Lord comes back, when Yahweh Shai comes back in that chariot, you know, and the skies are filled, you know, with the host of heaven, man, all the angels, thousands upon thousands of angels fill the skies, man, that war in heaven, and ultimately, when the nukes drop, yeah, that destruction, that sacrifice, you know, the Lord's going to have in this place, in Basra, America. That's when you're going to see it physically, you know. That's when the sons of strangers, you know, that build up their walls over there in Israel, you know. Yeah, remnant shall return. This is Isaiah 10 and 20. And it shall come to pass in that day that the remnant of Israel, such are escaped of the house of Jacob, shall no more again stay upon him that smote them, but shall stay upon the Lord, Yahweh Shai, the Holy One of Israel. In truth, the remnant shall return, even the remnant of Jacob, unto the mighty power. For though thy people, Israel, be as the sand of the sea, yet the remnant of them shall return. The consumption decreed shall overflow with righteousness. Yeah, even though our people be as the sand of the sea, man. Innumerable. You know, Israel is the sand of the sea, spread across, you know, four corners of the earth, scattered. It was the sand of the sea, but only, you know, a remnant. Only a small number is going to return to the Lord, man. As 2nd Ezra 8 and 1 in the Apocrypha, 2nd Ezra 8 and 1. And he answered me, saying, The Most High hath made this world for many, but the world to come for few. Yeah, that first dominion, man, it's only going to be a few. 144,000, 1/3. Yahweh Shai, man. Yeah, skipping down to verse 3. There be many created, but few shall be saved, man. Few, yeah, you know. Many are called, but few are chosen out here, man. That's why you want to pray that the Lord keeps you in the spirit at all times, man. A wave to a drop, you know. Yeah, just read that again, verse 2nd Ezra 8 and 1. And he answered me, saying, The Most High hath made this world for many, but the world to come for few. Yeah, back in Isaiah 10:21, the remnant shall return, even the remnant of Jacob, unto the mighty power. That is the remnant, man, the elect. That first dominion, man. For though thy people Israel be as the sand of the sea, yet a remnant of them shall return, because the consumption decreed shall overflow with righteousness. Yeah, you know, Most High reserved 7,000 That's not going to bow down to Baal. That remnant, that house of David is rising back up again. Yes, Amos 9 and 11, the restoration of Israel. In that day will I raise up the tabernacle of David that is fallen. Yeah, we're in that time where he's raising up the tabernacle of David that is fallen. And close up the breaches thereof. And I'll raise up his ruins, and I'll build it as in the days of old. Yeah, close up the breaches. Holes, fractures, and all that. No one's gonna envy each other. Ephraim's not gonna envy Judah. And vice versa. There'll be any hatred. He's gonna take away the curses, man. So he's gonna close up the breaches thereof, and raise up his ruins. I'll build it as in the days of old, that they may possess the remnant of Edom and all the heathen which are called by my name. Saith the Lord, doeth this, man. They may possess the remnant of Edom, and all the heathen. Right? But the point, is I will raise up the tabernacle of David that is fallen. We have fallen. But that was, prophecy. There'll come a falling away first. But the Lord's building up, that house of David right now, man. But also you have that house of Saul. Yeah, it's 2 Samuel 3:1. Now there was long war between the house of Saul and the house of David. But David waxed stronger and stronger, and the house of Saul waxed weaker and weaker. The Lord was with the house of David, even unto this very day, man. The resurrection of the house of David spiritually, man. The Lord is with the house of David. So right now, it's obvious you have the house of Saul, man. All these other camps out there, man, teaching, fables, wayward doctrines, camps that were obviously paid off, teaching, not pushing the name, pushing false names when they know the Hebrew, when they know the true name of Yahweh Shai, man. But they was paid off, they took the bag, turned into a modern day house of or just like a Christian church with an Israelite twist, These other camps, spiritually, the house of Saul coming back. But the Lord is with the house of David. It says, but David waxed stronger and stronger, and the house of Saul waxed weaker and weaker. Yeah, man, we're in that time right now, that first dominion, just, the house of David coming back. There's a couple more scriptures I got, a real quick one. Deuteronomy 28:25. The Lord, Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, shall cause thee to be smitten before thy enemies, and thou shalt go out one way against them, and flee 7 ways before them. Thou shalt be removed into all the kingdoms of the earth. Yeah, that's scattering, that's scattering. So that's that curse, man. But the Lord, He's slowly, lifting these curses off us, man, through this truth, through the internet. Through these prophecies that we're seeing that we're close, man. But it says, he was smitten before our enemies, right? And brought down low. You know, but our people, they wanna stay here, you know, and be in this little state, not knowing who we are. But that's okay. The Lord says the world to come is but for a few. It's Ecclesiastes 10 and 5. There is evil which I have seen under the sun, as an error which proceedeth from the ruler. Folly is set in great dignity, and the rich sit in a low place. Yeah, you see that every day online in the internet. You know, folly is set in great dignity in this place, man. Every day in the internet. And the rich sit in a low place. Yeah, the elect, man. Israel's in a very low place right now, man. I have seen servants upon horses, and princes walking as servants upon the earth. Yeah, and the horse. Back in the ancient world, the horse represented power. So if you sat on a horse, that means you were someone of great status, wealth, and power. And it's saying now he's seeing servants walking upon horses. Man, he's someone with great power on the side. Esau. So Esau's walking. He has that power. He has that rulership, that dominion on this side. You know, the earth was given to the hand of the wicked. Look at that real quick. It's Job 9 and 24. Job 9:24. The earth is given to the hand of the wicked. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? Yeah, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. Who's the one ruling the whole planet Earth right now? Who's the one sitting on high, you know, on these horses, man? Spiritually sitting on a high horse. Yeah, you watch that movie Django Unchained, man, when Steven saw Django on that horse, man, he was like, who's that ninja on that nag? You know? That horse represented power. Like, what's he doing up on that, man? So, I mean, the servants, Esau, you know, he's sitting on a high place right now. He's sitting on the horses. He's spiritually, he's in the power seat, so to speak. It says that the earth was given into the hand of the wicked. He covered the faces of the judges thereof. Yeah, going back to the Renaissance period, 1300s, 1400s, man. He covered all the faces of the judges, man. Whitewashed them, iconoclasm, you know. We'll call the Icons and Saints of the Orthodox Church is a book. It shows you those original icons, those original paintings, you know, that dark skin, you know, when Jake was ruling, you know, when Jake was over there in Russia, in Asia, in Europe, you know. Jake was in the power seat at that time, man. Then he was brought low again. He was brought low. He went into slavery afterwards. Esau's been in rulership ever since, man. Yeah, that Renaissance period, right? Because the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. Really, if you read the book of Maccabees, you know, when Alexander the Greek took over, that's when evil spread across the whole planet Earth, man. So everywhere this man goes, he spreads evilness, wickedness. And he covered up the faces of the judges thereof, man. He painted himself up to be Yahushai, you know, called him Jesus, which is really Cesare Borgia of the Borgia family. He took all the prophets, you know, the apostles, you know, painted them white and all that, whitewashed them. It's iconoclasm, man. That's what it means. He covered up the faces of the judges thereof. Not where. Who is this man? Who's the devil, man? This man is ruling planet Earth right now. Yeah, going back to Ecclesiastes 10:7. I've seen servants upon horses, and princes walking as servants upon the earth. Princes walking as servants. Maybe the princes, the Israelites. Jerusalem, daughter of Jerusalem, daughter of Zion, just read. Daughter of Jerusalem, Israel, man. Walking as servants, you know, because we're in this low state. We've been brought down low. But, you know, the point of this lesson, you know, the Lord Most High is resurrecting, you know, his princes, the house of David, you know, the kingdom, man. He's building the house of David as the days of old, man. Those warriors, those mighty men, right? So it's something really to look forward to, man, these last days, man. But going back to our enemies, man. Going back to our enemies, limitations to Lamentations 2:13. What thing shall I take to witness for thee? What shall I liken to thee, O daughter of Jerusalem? What shall I equal to thee, that I may comfort thee, O virgin daughter of Zion? For thy breach is great, like the sea. Who can heal thee? Yeah, going back from the Lord said he's going to seal up the breaches thereof, because our breach is great right now. Our breach is, you know, waxing great, a huge breach in our people. And who can heal thee? The Lord said he's going to bring healing in thy wings, man. He's going to restore health unto us, man. The coming of Yahushua, man. Who can heal thee? Thy prophets have seen a vain and foolish things for thee. They have not discovered thine iniquity. They turn away thy captivity, but have seen for thee false burdens and causes of banishment. Yeah, thy prophets have seen vain, foolish things, false prophets out here, man. They're not warning the people, not telling us who we are, not bringing out the true doctrine. You know, they're telling you, you know, the C-hip, mark of the beast. You know, they're saying that's sin. You know, it's an implantable mark. It's an implantable chip. You know, that hour of temptation, you're not going to be able to buy anything or sell anything unless you have the mark. And these other guys out there, they're not warning the congregation of that. You know? It says, thy prophets have seen a vain and foolish things. It's that house of Saul, man. For thee, they have not discovered thine iniquity. They're not telling the people that we're going off, you know, telling you to repent, get right with Yahushua. They're not even pushing the true name. So the congregation isn't even gonna repent. They don't even have the true name, man. Talking some Christ and all that. They have not discovered thine iniquity to turn away thy captivity, but have seen for thee false burdens and cause of banishment. All that pass by clap their hands at thee. They hiss and wag their head at the daughter of Jerusalem. Now we fall from a great state, man. We're falling, man. They hiss at us. And wag their head and they'll shake their head looking, you know, Jake. Even in this park right here, there's nothing but all these homeless people out here. In this park, you got these tents out here, you know. It's like a damn near homeless encampment now in this park. It wasn't always like this, man. It was all Jakes. Those parties, it's all Jake out here, man, homeless. These people that wag by, hissing and wagging their head. You know, we've fallen from a great state, man. Wag their head at the daughter of Jerusalem, saying, is this a city that men call the perfection of beauty, the joy of the whole earth? Yeah, it used to be, you know, perfection of beauty, man. In King Solomon's time, man, the doorman was decked out, you know. Not the Queen of Sheba thought the doorman was the king, man. even during the Byzantine, man. And the Lord brought us back up a little bit again, you know. We were great people, man. And now it's like people say, hey, is this a city that men call perfection of beauty? Joy of the whole earth? The joy when we're burdened. You know, people hate us, man. We're an eyesore, you know, to these people out here, man. All thine enemies have opened their mouth against thee. It says, thy enemies have opened their mouths against thee. They hiss and gnash the teeth. They say, we have swallowed her up. Certainly this is the day that we looked for. We have found, we have seen it. So these people are cheering. They're cheering, man. They're happy to see us in our low state. That's why everywhere you go, it's always the Negroes, man. They hate the blacks, the Latinos. You know, they hate them. You know, the Super Bowl that just happened, you know, we had Bad Bunny. You know, it's like, you from like, dude, you know, the whole thing was in Spanish. Everybody hated it. Everybody was talking down on it, you know. Verse 17, the Lord Yahweh Shemashai hath done that which he had devised. He hath fulfilled his word that he had commanded in the days of old. He hath thrown down and hath not pitied. He hath caused thine enemy to rejoice over thee. He hath set up the horn of thine adversaries. Yeah, the Lord was in control. Like, you know, the Lord is always in control, man. That's why you always put your faith in Yahweh Shai, man, because the Lord's in control. The Lord set this man up, you know. The Lord gave him the horn. He has set up the horn of thy adversaries. The horn represents your power. He's the one who gave our adversaries the power over us, man. Not these other nations. They didn't do it on their own power, man. Yahweh Shai did it, man. He had done what he devised, man, because we went off as a people, man. So he set up these curses on us. But hey, we're in that time. The Lord's raising up, you know, the house of David, man, again. They say, yeah, thrown down, have not pitied, you know. But, you know, our iniquity is up, man. Yeah, just skipping a verse, Lamentations 4:22. The punishment of thine iniquity is accomplished. You know, the punishment is accomplished, man. We're in these end times, man. These other camps, they want to stay here. They want to stay here in Babylon, you know. The punishment of thine iniquity is accomplished, O daughter of Zion. He will no more be carry thee away into captivity. Yeah, we're never going to, you know, once that new dominion is established, you know, we're never going to go into captivity ever again. Because that second covenant is going to be established. Lord's going to write that law in our inward parts, man. He will no more carry thee away into captivity. He will visit thy iniquity, O daughter of Edom. He will discover thy sins. Yeah, now it's time for Esau to go into slavery. You know, we did our time in slavery. Now it's time for you to go into slavery, man. All right? Let's deal with it. Yeah, but real quick, we'll end it. Isaiah 61. Uh, 61:2. To proclaim, we start at 1. The Spirit of the Lord power is upon me, because the Lord hath anointed me to preach good tidings unto the meek. Yeah, that's our job, as the Lord commanded us. You know, to go out to these streets, the highways and the byways, you know, and give a warning to the people, and speak of these good tidings that the kingdom's coming, man. To the meek, you know, to the Israelites, Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. He has set me up to bind up the brokenhearted, to proclaim liberty to the captives, and to open the prison to them that are bound. Yeah, bound in your spirit, your soul, man. Physically and spiritually, you know, really. Yeah, you know. rest with us, to proclaim the acceptable year of the Lord and the day of vengeance of our power, to comfort all that mourn. And as I comfort them in the day of vengeance, I should comfort you, man, the day of vengeance. Because the Lord's going to get his vengeance. The vengeance is constantly on the Lord's mind right now, you know? And that should comfort you. And you're going to get that revenge. And the Lord's coming back to redeem his people, to appoint unto them that mourn in Zion, to give unto them beauty for ashes, the oil of joy for mourning, the garment of praise for the spirit of heaviness, that they might be called trees of righteousness, the people of righteousness, man. Back against right now, you know, they look down on us, man. Is this the beauty? Is this the beauty of the earth, the city of perfection, you know? And then the people, you know, it's truth, man. We come back to who we are, that we might be called the trees of righteousness, man. The planting of the Lord, Yahweh outside, that he might be glorified. And they shall build the old wastes, and shall raise up the former desolation. They shall repair the waste cities and the desolations of many generations. And strangers shall stand and feed your flocks. And the sons of the alien shall be your plowmen and your vine dressers. That's slavery, man. But ye shall be named the priests of the Lord. Men shall call you ministers of our power. Ye shall eat the riches of the Gentiles, of the nations, man. And in their glory shall ye boast yourselves. Yeah, you're gonna boast yourselves. Jake wanna boast themselves in this kingdom, man. No, this ain't no kingdom to boast yourself in. But you know, the first dominion, the house of David, the elect, they're gonna boast in the kingdom, man. Just going back up to verse 5. Isaiah 61:5, look at the word strangers. The word there is it's a war. It needs to be a stranger, a strange, another, a foreigner, an enemy. You know? An enemy. Our enemies. Our enemies shall stand and feed your flocks. The sons of aliens, the foreigners, the Gentiles, other nations, man, shall be your plowmen and your vine dressers. That's not slavery, man. Real quick, Isaiah, the last one. Isaiah 54 and 11. Isaiah 54 and 11. O thou afflicted, tossed with tempest, and not comforted, behold, I will lay thy stones with fair colors, and lay thy foundations with sapphires. And I will make thy windows agates, and thy gates of carbuncle, and all thy borders pleasant stones. And all thy children shall be taught of the Lord, and there shall be great peace for the children of Israel, man. So that peace is coming, man. The kingdom is coming. It's going to be a beautiful, you know, built kingdom. You know, the kingdom's going to be beautiful. And the sons of strangers, man, the aliens, you know, our enemies, they're going to be the ones that are going to build it. Yeah, you know, with that, you know, that first dominion, something to look forward to. You know, just want to get into that, man. Lord's resurrecting the house of Israel, the house of David, right now, man. So with that, you know, Baruch the Yahweh, Baruch the Yahushai, Baruch the Yahweh, Baruch the Yahushai, Baruch the Yahweh, Baruch the Yahushai. Shalom.